Good morning, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I bring to you our Region 1 Region Advisor, Rose Kirland. Rose is a Region Advisor for District 7, 15, 39, and 57. Rose has been a Toastmaster since 2010 with several districts. Rose has held various leadership positions at the club and district level. A past club VPPR, and in 2019-2020 term was Hawaii's District 49 Public Relations Manager. Rose executed her over 41 years of passion and experience in public relations and marketing to help lead District 49 to Distinguished District, one of only 2 United States districts in the plight of the pandemic. Besides being a professional trainer and speaker, a mortgage broker, a TEDx speaker, insurance agent, K-beauty planner, Rose is the mother of 3 adult sons. Yes, all who are Toastmasters too. If she could enroll her other 3 family members, Winston, Stella, and Lola, their prize dogs, into Toastmasters, she probably would do that too. Well known for her high energy, enthusiasm, sense of humor, and passion for building new clubs, which in the recent 2 years successfully chartered over 25 new clubs. Please, everyone, put your hands together for our Region 1 Advisor, Rose Kirland. Rose, you're up. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here on Zoom, or will be hearing the recording when it happens. We have a very cozy group of meeters today, if that's the correct English word. So we're going to be very interactive. I will be needing your help as we go through this. The first thing that I was told when invited here for this session was, how do we grow membership? Whether it's in building new clubs or whether it's in helping our existing clubs grow their membership. So that's the key pet peeve that's going on everywhere. Everywhere the key is, how do we grow membership? I was talking to Dave Bones the other day at a trio and key 4, because when you have the PRM, it's called key 4, these little icons that we use or acronyms. And I was talking to him about what are the 2 things that we need to have a distinguished club, right? What's the first one? Membership, right? And what's the other? What?
Program.
The program, the distinguished club program. If you don't have 2, the club doesn't make distinguished club by the end of the year. There are many clubs that do the educational program, they attend club officer training, but they lack the membership growth. So Dave is going to implement real soon, right? Because start now is the whole big mantra. When you do a start now and you flip the words, it becomes WON, W-O-N. And that's our drive, is when you start now, you will always win, because you have now been able to accomplish a little bit more than if you're rushing last minute. So Dave is going to introduce very soon a DCP challenge for clubs to attain their 5 DCP goals by what date, Dave?
Is that again, please?
So you're going to have your clubs challenge themselves to attain the 5 DCP goals by what day?
Yes, by a month earlier, and we're going to be doing that.
December 30, right?
Yes,
Because
that's right.
you want it over with in this
You want it done.
Excellent, great. Thank you for sharing that, and for reconfirming that. So that challenge is gonna come out right away, real soon, because members need to know ahead of time, hey, let's get our educational, let's get all of our other things in so that we're halfway to the halfway point of becoming distinguished Toastmasters Club. So now the whole thing still settles down to how do we retain our members and grow new clubs? So now for the club growth director and for the PQD, Dave, they pretty much encompass in their roles the entire district mission. Anybody know the district mission?
Yes.
Support clubs and grow new clubs.
What is the
Right.
exact verbiage of the district mission? Let's
Read it off.
read this.
Just in a
Let's
moment.
read out the district mission. What's the district mission?
We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence.
Right, so club growth and
Retention.
Day Bones, right?
Yes.
Day Bones is about achieving excellence. Get those 5 DCPs, well, as many clubs as possible before the end of this year. That is a must. Now, let's go into the part about membership, because I know that that can be a needle in the haystack for many. Why is it that some clubs are 30 membership strong? Some are only 3 strong. Why is that? So let's just get some ideas here together that I'm sure you're familiar with the clubs that you belong to. All the clubs that you belong to, let's start with my dear friend who's been here for 30 years, my new friend. Your clubs that you belong to, what's the membership strength? 8, 10, 20? You could just name one if you want.
It's Clay on Cox, and the club strength of my number 1 club is right around 13 or 14.
Okay, so let's say.
Second club is right at 20. And the
Anything
third club is at, I believe it's 12.
Okay, so 12 to 13, and then you have one that's charter strength. Whenever you have a club, any leader, club officer or district leaders, that is a charter strength, that needs to be heavily recognized. Promoted when you're putting it out there for people to come and join the meeting. It's important that you publicize charter strength. That's the one suggestion for you. The second suggestion is that if any of these clubs that you belong to, for example, were distinguished in the previous term, the promotion should say distinguished, president's distinguished, select distinguished club, and on the bottom, charter strength, if they have both. This is real important. And what happens is that the public has no idea what that means. You know what it means. When your members see it, there is a boost of morale and pride because their efforts from decades to decade are not unwarranted. Their efforts, they're reminded. Now, the public doesn't know, so when they see your website, what's one of the first questions they might ask you if they see those 2 things?
What the heck, what is charter strength?
What the heck? I love Susan. I just love her. Like, what the heck is that? What does that allow you now that they ask that question?
To explain not only what it is, but
To what we had heard about networking.
Yeah.
There you have it. So you see the connection is, are you giving your members and your general public reasons to talk to you? It's very simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but people have to have a reason to be curious. And the reason to be curious is when you put out that you're distinguished, whether it's president, select, or regular, and whether or not you have charter strength. Does that make sense? Do you think that would help in building relationship with strangers or reinforcing a rapport and relationship with your current members?
Absolutely.
That's how some clubs can go 20 and beyond. Dave, I want you to share. What do you think about those publicities of letting clubs know, because this is your area of excellence. Encouraging clubs, your team, your area directors, your division directors to encourage club that when you're publicizing, let your members know they're appreciated by stating what you are, what you've achieved, and let the general public know. What do you think? Are you going to maybe implement this as another plan campaign to help your membership grow? Dave?
Yes, I really like that a lot, and I'm always looking for principles, and I've gathered a bunch from what you've said in the past couple of days. And what I'm seeing is always give the public a reason to engage with you, make them put out little clues to make them curious about what you offer.
Great, thank you. So engage is very important, but they're not just going to ask you about something. Usually it's what Susan said. What the heck does that mean? You know, sometimes people promote their club on social media, through emails to other people they know, or to within even their club members, and they got stars and graphics and everything. People usually do not have a question with that. Usually a question comes when they are seeing something new. What do you think your members might say when they see that now you're advertising distinguished or charter strength?
Right.
What do you think your members might say or feel or say?
Yeah, that, you know, we've done something, it matters.
It matters. And so that's a big thing, is because matters is a very big thing. Everybody matters. That's like gold, right? And people will renew or they would join because you had purposeful engagement that's on purpose, and you have that sense of feeling, I matter. And it matters that we share what we're gaining from this to the world. Now, my mom is the daughter of Christian ministers who immigrated from Germany. And she would always say to us that it's our responsibility to make sure that our fellow human know that they matter. And growing up with that, I have used that in every recruiting that I do, whether I was selling insurance, mortgage money, whichever, is that every individual matter. So now let's go to Susan. Susan, you belong to some clubs,
Yeah.
right? What is your member strength in your clubs?
So my main club advisors is holding steady at 8.
8.
My other club, Rose City club that meets at CRC, is inside CRCI prison. I was counting up 17 incarcerated members plus 4 outside volunteer members. So I count 21.
21.
Which would be charter strength. We had other volunteer members in the works and other incarcerated members in the works.
So you see here, we're already on the road. We already know that our promotional flyers are, if we were distinguished the previous term, and if we're at charter strength. Now, what is interesting is that you are in one club at the minimum membership strength, the minimum. These are, as we were talking about it the other day, Dave, what clubs would it be? An A club, B club, or a C club?
That's right. I think all of our members are valuable, but the way we
Number 8, my question, let me clarify. My question, if you only had 8 members in a club, would you grade that category as A club, B club, or C club category?
I'd give them the B club, I think.
I agree.
You would, a B?
Yeah.
This club, B, it can be a B, but 8s are Cs. And the reason why 8s are Cs is because we call it that they need the care and share from other clubs and other leaders. Not that they're a bad club, but they need a lot of care and share.
Attention, yeah.
That's why we call it the C category. It does not mean they're a bad group. It just means 8 has more risk more risk of drowning.
We're aware. of it.
Yeah, so they need care to learn how to swim in the swamp of life.
Yes.
When we were at the convention, which they did not have an opportunity to attend, what was the big deal that Daniel Rex, CEO, made about life and the way we run our organization? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
learning to
Share with
live
us.
in the swamp and making sure that we survive inside that swamp.
Yes,
Because we're in a downturn, but we're on our way back up.
yes. So that's where we want to help out of the swamp. We do not want to be, it's not encouraged for you to create more swamp. We don't want you to create
Exactly.
more swamps. It's encouraged that we help get you out of a swamp.
Yes.
Some people call it a slump, but at the convention this year, the theme was living, working in the slump.
Yes.
All right, so now we understand why we would, in our leadership world, categorize 8 in the C group, right? Now we understand the concept, because sometimes people think A is, you know, the smartest kid in the room, B is not so, you know, it's okay, and C is like being an F student, so you may as well call me F, right? But that is not the way we work in Toastmasters, okay? So now let's talk about this kind of membership. It's great when we're here because we get the CS. It's even great when we're here in between, because the goal might have been just 13 members to get distinguished. But where are we with 8? So to test our district leaders, either Dave or our dear Dr. Gwendolyn, how many 8s are in your district clubs?
There are 15 clubs that are 8 and under.
15 of them.
Yes.
And how many clubs are 12 and under? Let's say it's the same. Okay?
Yeah.
So
I'll
let's
pull
say we
up
have a
this.
total of 30. Your area, you as an area director, division directors, leaders, club officers are all responsible to help give care to this group. And the reason being is that typically those clubs need the most out of Toastmasters, those members, than any other club. And why is that? Why do you think that 12 or under members need more attention, need to stay in Toastmaster much more than the clubs who have great charter strength? Just what do you think? There's no right or wrong.
There's a good chance you're gonna lose some,
Each
whether
song.
you like it or not, for numerous reasons.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, I was saying the same, is that each due cycle, you're looking at that and saying, oh, if we have 12, if I lose 4 in the next renewal, I'm at 8 and below. And you don't want to do that. And I want to say it this by reference, if I might, that our club retention chair and her team are looking at that. They are looking at the 8 and under. They have a form that they are doing right now for those 8 and under to help them to grow. But at the same time, she is looking at those that are 12 and under, because we want to also get coaches for those folks too. So it's not just the 8 and under, the 15.
Very good.
And on the other hand, the advantage of a small club is you got plenty of opportunities to speak.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
This is why you need this club to stay in, because you're going to promote more opportunities to excel in your communication and leadership world.
Yes.
That's why this club needs your care and attention. If you have any clubs that you are overseeing or you belong to that are 12 or under, that's the promotion. In this club, you have opportunities to excel faster, more expediently, and get through it. So let's just review real quick. We talked about where your share was, you have clubs that are 12 to 13, and you have clubs that you belong to that are charter strength. What's the promotion you want to start to do from here on, beginning right away, beginning now, because NOW spelled the other way is what?
One.
And you want to win. Everybody wants to win, right?
Mhm.
So what, just a quick review, do you want to do to promote your club? You're the first top line.
More members.
So you want to promote your club, let them know that you are maybe distinguished in the past, right? And you are charter strength.
Yes.
And why does it, we're just doing a quick summary, quick review. And why is that so important when you promote that? Susan, you.
So I can read, because it's a way to talk about your club, to engage with people, say, what does that mean? You distinguish, what does that mean, charter strength? And so you can talk about that. And, oh shoot, what's
And
that?
that-
It matters because the members are, can say, yeah, this matters because I've learned stuff, I've grown, I feel, you know.
They feel good, right?
Exactly.
Everybody needs a booster shot of morale, right? And we had heard that earlier about how valuable networking is. The biggest thing in all of this is that we're always selling. We don't like to use that word, but it is a nice word because unless you can share your benefits, you're not really letting others know about it. And so I always call it sharing, but it's the best thing ever is how do you share so that people get curious and they inquire. This is number one in building rapport. In building rapport, there has to be some kind of engagement. In building relationships, the first thing is rapport. Any sales class you go to, any sharing class you go to, any sermon you go to, even if you're faith, you go to a faith sermon, whichever, it's always about, have you shared something good with someone today? That's what Toastmasters comes down to, right? Have you shared something good with someone today? So this helps you get to that point. The next one that we're now on is about 12 members or less in your clubs. 12 members or less is the C category, which helps you to stand out, that you want to care and share. We heard that there are opportunities when you have a smaller club because more people get to speak. And larger clubs is sometimes limited, and someone may want to speak and they can't speak because 4 other speakers are ahead of them, right? But in a smaller club, you have an opportunity to speak. Doesn't mean you want to encourage that we stay small. We don't want to send the wrong message. But if you want your members to stay in and renew again, that is one of the benefit points to bring up. The benefit is that you have more opportunities to speak and you can excel through your communication and leadership track quicker, more effectively, and you have not only more opportunities to speak, but more opportunities to engage in feedback, right? Which we call what do we call feedback, Dave Bones? It's a big
Opportunities to learn.
What do we call it?
Evaluation.
Opportunities to learn and evaluation in Toastmasters.
Evaluations, right? And that's why I saw some of you have evaluation contests and you have champion evaluators. Well, that's a big thing. Now, how do we help these clubs grow their membership? That's what we want to get at. Because when we started off today, we talked about there's only 2 things in Toastmasters, which is in the district mission: grow clubs and excellence, right? So grow clubs doesn't only mean building new ones, although it is a heavy focus on that, because we always have to have some newness. The other day I was talking with a club and this person said before she hung up, I need newness. My club is not giving me ignite energy because it's the same old. I need newness. So we know people need something new. That's why they travel. That's why they get a new car. That's why they get a new stove or whichever. Yes.
something that crossed my mind was this. For some of us long-term members, when we have the smaller clubs, I'm getting tired.
There you have it.
I enjoy speaking, but I prefer to watch others grow. Yet the clubs are so small that every week I have 1 to 2 jobs to do at each club. So therefore, that's why I always want to have more new members, get new ideas, but then to also share the wealth, but to take the load off of me. One of my clubs, I beat everybody to the punch and I sign up for an evaluation role, so I don't have to speak. It's really time.
Very good, very
So
good.
therefore, there's another big reason why I'm wondering about the older people, the people complaining and don't want to stay or whatever.
Yes,
Because we're getting overburdened, and I
There's-
don't want this to go away.
yes,
I want us to stay.
yes. Thank you for sharing that. Very good point, because we're always moving on. It's like water flows. It doesn't stay in one place. If it's flowing down the river, we have to move on. So we always have to regenerate newness. Time passes. We're not here perpetually. So how, now let's get down to the guts then. How do we do that? Not only keep, but gain, right? Not only keep, but grow our numbers. Right, so how do we get there? Ideas?
Talk to people.
Talk to people.
No.
Talk to people. Dave, ideas, how do we get there? Retain and grow, retention and grow. Talk to people.
Absolutely, and Cleon is a master of that, actually. Yes.
What's an idea that you can share? He shared talk to people. What about you?
I think we in the district could certainly support through promotion on our website and our event sort of communication channel.
Okay, so promote. Promote on district sites. All right. How about you, Susan?
One thing I've heard is show up at community events, like although it's over music in the park or that kind of thing, and
Participate
Yeah.
or show up. At outside events, what we call external events. How about you, Dr. Gwendolyn?
I think in addition to those, I would take that top one, talk to people, and go a step further in identifying formally or informally the types of people you want to talk to, whether it's in your community, at your church or local supermarket, or a corporate club such as an Intel or a Nike. Going and finding out what the interest level is in talking. And starting a Toastmaster club, or even belonging, just like the gentleman we had at the market when we met at New Seasons. We talked to him for quite a while about joining, either starting a club, and if you don't want to start a club, becoming a member, go visit. Because people don't know half the time that we exist. Because it took me, in my own personal journey, it took me 25 years from the time I first heard Toastmasters until knowing and actually being in a meeting where they were doing a demo and talking about it. And I could have all my questions asked and answered at that time. But I had heard about it 25 years prior to ever joining.
25 years ago. Oh my gosh. Okay, there you go. How about Mark? Would you like to share? Or are you busy doing your work? Okay, no worries. You can check in on the report. I did not mean to stump you, but I wanted to be sure that you felt included as well.
I appreciate that. I always make sure wherever I go, I set the example of Toastmasters. People go, "You're so well spoken. How do you do that?"
All right. So what was your tip again?
modeling the speaking ability.
Leading by
I'm sorry?
example.
I model the behavior everywhere I speak.
Model behavior. Very good.
Which is not just speaking, but listening to.
Even more so, every day in my business.
Yeah. Now, we are going to talk about that number 4. Modeling behavior. This is a big thing for PQD. Because PQD has a connection with the PRM. And the PRM is the ambassador of branding. PRM is Public Relations Manager for the district. And the PQD needs to reinforce with the PRM the value of branding. I looked at the sign when I came in and it's your brand. Whenever I see black, red, and white, I know it's Keller Williams. Whenever I see KW, I know it's Keller Williams. The brand is ingrained in our brand. The brand isn't only the color, the fonts, or the size of the logo, or the positioning of where it should be, or the non-distortion. It is every one of us. How you dress, how you model your behavior to people is the Toastmaster brand. For example, as a World Headquarters representative, I am expected to be sure that I carry the brand. Do I have my name tag properly positioned? Do I have my pin? Am I in my blazer? It is all about modeling the behavior of what you want people to gravitate to, because you have something to share. You have a plethora of benefits to share. I am going to tell you another story, and that is when I first started many, many moons ago as a mortgage loan officer, my responsibility was to enter into strangers' offices like this gigantic space here, Keller Williams, and get business from them. Here I am, a stranger, walking into their offices. For over 30 days, the doors would slam in my face. Thank you, ma'am. We don't need you. Phone calls would go, beep, no response on the other end. And one day I said to my mom, I think I need to quit because this isn't for me. And so I had a choice. She said, well, you can quit or you can try to play again. So I decided to play again because she said, the next time you walk into that office, be friends with the first person you see. Who is usually the first person when you walk into any office that you see?
The reception.
The receptionist. Bingo, right? Because the receptionist will be your best friend and lead in to taking you to the person that can make decisions, the decision maker. So she said the first thing you do is do that. And when you walk into that office, my mother was quite wise, even though she had 15 of us at the age of starting at the age of 15 and never finished school. She was pretty wise. And she said, when you enter and you speak to the receptionist, he or she, don't talk about your business. Do not talk about Toastmasters. Don't even have to say that. Dress your model behavior. Speak your model way so that they can see, because actions prove more than words, that you are someone of your word. So I did my welcoming salutation that we all know. Hi, how are you? I have my tag so she can see that I am a Toastmaster, but I'm not talking about Toastmasters. I said, I just wondered if I could speak to your broker in charge to share with him a few benefits that I think he would really appreciate. At the time, it was a he. And she immediately said, oh, what do you do, right? She asked the question. I can come in and blah, 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 I sell real estate and I can do this and I'm the greatest person on the whole wide world and no other realtor does anything like I do, right? No other loan officer does anything. So then that was my door in. When we get that opportunity to enter, some of the first things that we talk about are not necessarily what your organization can do for you, but what has happened to you. Because people want to hear the stories about how you transform. Yes, they can look up. I always see you giving them the resource. You can check Toastmasters.org, but I always share the story about why I joined and why I stayed.
Yes.
So today I would like for us to share, there you are walking in the office, you get to see the broker in charge and you do your basic salutation, but you get to the subject of the why. Can you please share with us, why did you join Toastmasters and why you stay?
A very good friend of mine one day asked me if I had heard of Toastmasters. I said, yes. Have you ever been a member? No. And then he said, you ought to check it out. And that was it. So now my curiosity goes up and I began the process. I guess I was ready to be learning more.
There you have it. Thank you for that, Sharon. Susan, why did you join and why do you stay?
So I joined because I was looking for work for a year without success. Online applications just went into black holes, and I was reading What Color Is Your Parachute, and around chapter 11 I said, what, I have to talk with people? And then I went to the job finder support group where I met Cleon Cox, and his recommendation to all of us, you guys have experience and education and skills, you just need to learn how to sell yourself. I said,
There you
no, I don't want to sell myself, but my next stop was the Toastmasters meeting, and I've been a member of advisors ever since. I started working 6 months after that.
There you
So
have it.
at work, I stay because I cherish the people that I have formed bonds with. I have the best club ever. I know many people say that, but it's true for mine.
Thank you for that, Sharon. Dave Bones, why did you join and why do you stay?
Yes, thank you, Rose. I joined Toastmasters many years ago to improve my business presenting, ironically. And the reason I stay now is for the community. I really get a sense that this is my chosen community. I enjoy contributing. And I also want to recognize we have a couple of dignitaries in the Zoomosphere, with one being District Director Jim Robeson, and secondly, our Club Extension Chair, Sherry Redgrave. Back to you.
Excellent.
Thank you. And now for you, District Club Growth Director, Dr. Gwendolyn. Why did you join and why do you stay?
I joined because I thought when I walked in the room at New Horizons Toastmaster Club, wow, I can really help these people. I'm Dr. Gwendolyn Avington. And by the time I left, I understood, no, it's the other way around. They will be helping me to upscale my communication and my leadership style. And now I call them my family. And I mean that because each and every one, it's like having a siblings. You don't always agree with your siblings. You may have little ruffles in the road, but family is always there looking for you to be better than you were yesterday or last month or a year ago. And this is why I stay. My family and Toastmasters in general is my family. As I grow in the district and learn, then I see as family all around the world.
Great, thank you. So this is what we can do individually as members to help grow our club membership. Your members need to know that. One of the best books that I've read is Starting With Your Why from Simon Sinek. It's one of the best reads that you can have. Your meeting could be an excerpt from a chapter, and that could be your whole theme. That could be centered around their why and reinforce with them why they do something. Most people don't join an organization because the dues are cheap.
Right.
They don't do that. They join because there's a pain that they need to fulfill. There's a pain that they need to resolve, and they look to you because you shared the benefit. You shared that you got a job after you went to Toastmasters. Do you know how many people are out there looking for work? Toastmasters Could that help you when you promote your club for a theme? Out of work, still consider Toastmasters to improve your chances. What an easy, just simple words that are captivating. Words that we talked about earlier that are purposeful engagement. Purposeful engagement. So now that's what we can do, just little things of what we can do as individuals. What can the district do from their district retention team? What can they do? So this is where we're going to ask Dr. Gwendolyn and also PQD, Dave Bones, to give us some ideas of what are the retention groups team doing? What are they doing that we don't know about that we'd like to hear so that we can participate in growing our membership, not only in raising the bar of number of members, but also in growing new clubs. So if you can share a little bit about the club retention committee, club growth retention committee. What can you share with us that they're doing as a district to help us with new clubs and growing and helping us grow our members in our individual clubs? We already went through very extensively what we, the individual, can do, which is very powerful because it starts with an individual. But what about for
Our club retention chair and committee, as I mentioned earlier, are working on club forum that they do every other Thursday evening to engage with 8 members and under. What do you need? What is it that we can bring? One of the last that I attended, they were talking about just what we've talked a lot about today is how to do a video campaign for their clubs and put it out there, those 30-second slots. Also, she is looking at those 12 members and under, looking for a coach. Her initiative is to get at least 20 club coaches, of which in this moment we have 4.
Okay, so
So,
good.
I'll
Let's
go.
pause right there. I see that we have joined us just recently, Sherry and Jim Robinson. Thank you so much. If you can show your video, that would be great. Welcome.
We are at
Now,
pause.
before I erase this board, hi, Jim, thank you. And of course, our district director, it's always great when you have a trio, a district leader, be it a trio, an area director, division director, visit your clubs.
Yes.
Although area directors are only required a minimum of 2 visits per year, many successful clubs are credited to, the credit is given to the district visitors. When a club gets more frequent visits from the district, they tend to rally together and say, the district director is coming. Come on, let's sign up a Rose. Let's bring in guests. And they start rallying.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's an honor to have someone from a district. It's an honor for anyone that has gone through the tracks and now is at the top 3 of the district, or someone from world headquarters to come to your club and be there to support your club. So thank you, district leaders, for being here. I am going to erase this board so we can focus on retention. So if you'd like to take a photograph of it before I do, you can. And I need to just ask, when do you take a break?
Right now.
Right now.
That was
So
that
we're going
Ben.
to take a short break, but before you erase this, before I erase this, let me summarize for Sherry and Jim who have just joined us. Very quickly is, we know that there's 2 things that make a successful district, and that comes down to the clubs where the members meet their distinguished club goals. And one of those distinguished club goals requirement is not only the goals of minimum of 5, but meeting the membership requirement. And it's on the dashboard, everyone. You can go to the dashboard and you can see what's required for your club and membership to make the distinguished mark. And you must have that number by the March 1 renewal period. Okay, if you have it now, that's super great. Okay, then we went through of different clubs, the numbers that we have. We took 2 examples, both from Susan and, is it Leo or Cleo? Oh, okay, thank you. And we talked about their numbers. And now when you're at charter strength, which is 20 or more, it is a perfect opportunity to promote your club. Advertise, promote your club. It doesn't cost money. It does take some time. Your VPPR in your club should be working with you as a president, VP of membership, whoever, officers, all of them, even with members. Put out the flyer, post it on social media. District 7, I believe, has a district Facebook. Post it on District 7 Facebook so that everyone knows we are distinguished charter strength club. If you're distinguished from the past term, use that. If you're charter strength, use that. If you're both, really blow it up and use that. Again, it was shared, Jim and Sherry, for your benefit. It was shared by all of us here, including Dave, that what does this do? It helps our members feel good about themselves, their morale is boosted, and there is purposeful engagement. Purposeful engagement is very important when we're an adult, because adults hate wasting time. And the reason they hate wasting time is because they see they don't have much time to go. So don't waste my time. So purposeful engagement is important. We then led into what can we do as individuals to build our membership and to help form new clubs. We talked about newness. You know, what's going to happen when I retire from this and I move along to other shores? We talked about talk to people, any kind of people, every kind of people that you have an opportunity. Jim, you can share with everyone when we were at the meet and meal gathering with you in that marketplace. What happened? We ended up talking to somebody, right? Can you share that?
Yeah, of course. Rose had and Gwendolyn had a conversation with a person who was working there at one of the counters, and had a great talk about. In fact, he's retiring from his main work and was looking for some other activities, so he's very interested. It would have been a great opportunity to hand him something with information about Toastmasters, and but of course. It was just another conversation. To run into this all the time, where if you're wearing a pin or you just say, I'm here for Toastmasters, a lot of times people will show up. We have these buttons that say, ask me about Toastmasters.
There you go.
And we can certainly distribute a lot more of those around the district. But it's like in my home club, our Vice President of Public Relations frequently has business cards printed up that he can hand out, because he's handing them out to everybody he talks to. And even though I ordered him, I think 1,000 business cards a couple years ago, a few months later he was asking for more. And it's every opportunity to talk to people.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much. And how we started that engagement was because he asked me about my name tag. Okay, so talking to people, yes, you have a Toastmaster logo that you wear, a hat, a shirt, a blouse, name tag. People will always find you curious. They are curious cats, curious George, as we say in the storybook, and they'll peek over and start talking with you, engaging. So yes, promote on district sites. We heard that from Dave Bones. Thank you. Participate and show up. Participate in external events. Let me share with you how I was able, as Dr. Gwendolyn shared in my introduction, charter over 25 clubs. I joined AARP, not as a member, but as a volunteer on their Speakers Bureau. And when you volunteer on the Speakers Bureau, you don't talk about your business per se. You just present the program that they have. But because some of the programs that you present are in person, what happens during break? They ask you what?
What do you?
What do you
Yeah.
do? I sell real estate, I sell management, I sell, detergent, whatever, right? And that's how I was able to recruit so many people because they were curious. Some of it in AARP, my presentation that I do for AARP is on brain health. The number one thing we promote for brain health is socialize.
Yeah.
Join something where you can talk with people. So what's better than Toastmasters, right? So that's how we can help you, right? So I encourage you to participate or show up at external events. Even if you show up as a guest at AARP function, which are open to everyone, they don't limit you that you have to be 50 or over to show up, but usually that's the demographics. And talk to them. And one of the best things to do is model what you have gained, your benefits. If you're more easygoing, more relaxed, not a hyper person like I used to be, even more hyper than I am now, model that, because that's the best proof that you walk the talk. So now that we've had a chance to review this for the benefit of those that just recently joined us, and if you would like to take a snapshot of this, I believe this is a time for a 15 or 10-minute break.
15 minutes.
15-minute break. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. And yes,
What's the bottom word down there?
Yeah.
upscale. UPSKILL. Upskill. You always upskill when you learn something that benefits you. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll take a break.
We are here at Club Growth Director Training with our Region 1 advisor, Rose Kirland. The first hour, we've learned quite a bit from her. So now for the second hour of 3, I give you Rose Kirland. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Gwendolyn, thank you so much. All right, I've cleared the board. You've all had a chance to photograph it if you wanted the notes. We are going to dive into what the district can do or what they are doing together with you collaboratively to help you grow your membership, sustain your members as far as going on until they decide or have life changes, and also growing new clubs. Okay. Now, the district mission, as you know, starts off with growing new clubs. And the top leaders in the district have been Dropbox into Basecamp a new club building initiative. That is the newest update with Toastmasters International, is a new club building initiative. And what that is that we always have to renew and replenish. It's sort of like reptiles that shed their skin and bring on new ones. It's the same with any business and organization. Look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola started off with just one type of Coca-Cola. Now, I don't even know if there's 20 or 30 different ways of drinking Coca-Cola. All new because we know that the general public, we as adults, need refreshing newness to our lives. So we're going to start with the Club Growth Committee, and that's called the Retention Committee, correct? Okay, we're going to start with the Retention Committee because that's where we left off, is what can we as individuals do to retain our members, get them to pay their dues by, what's the due date for dues that are due? Hello, PQD, can you share what is the due date for for sub-annual dues that are due?
We have 2 due cycles, and of course, they are the April 1st and October 1st.
When is the deadline for the dues?
Oh, sorry if you couldn't hear me. The 2 due cycles are April 1st and October 1st.
Okay, so when is our dues due for this cycle?
Oh, yes, October 1st, but we want to be thinking 30 days ahead, of course.
September 30, so that it is accounted for October 1. So the magic number is 930. That number is so magical that what else is due on that date, David? Name one other thing that's due besides the dues from the district. What's due on September 3rd?
Let's see, I'm so focused on dues right now. I must admit, I'm on the spot. I'm not thinking of it at the moment.
Okay, let's help him out.
Marketing plan and communications plan.
That's due September 30th.
Oh, yes, the DSP.
Okay, the District Success Plan.
A district success plan. Okay, David, now you're on a roll. Can you
Yes.
name something else that's due on September 3rd?
The communication
A
plan.
communication plan. Excellent. Jim, can you name the other one that's due by September 30th?
That's the big.
Marketing,
The marketing plan. And what other thing is big deal? It has to do with all the way we spend the money which belongs to members. Is what's due on the 30th?
Budget.
Budget.
Budget. I heard Dave squeeze that in. All right, budget. So in addition to what the district is and has been working on really hard, are these plans so that they can have a roadmap to help us as members, or the renewal dues. Dues are due. And this is what shall I say, the gauge of whether your members stay.
Yes.
You know, and so that's why the why. What I talked about, Simon Sinek's book, Start With Your Why that is such a big part of members renewing their dues. Have any of your club members taken advantage of the July incentive?
Yeah.
Bravo, great, because that was a savings of $15. And so now the rest have to pay $60. $60 is very affordable. It's only $10 a month for those that have no clue that there was a pass above 45. They will never have a clue that there was a pass above 45 unless you decide to bring that up.
Right.
Do you think it will help your club grow if you bring up in the old days, we used to do blah, blah, blah? No, right? Why do you think that would not be a suggested conversation?
I think that if you tell them it used to be 45 and now it's 60, then they'll question their why. Why would I pay $15 more? And then you have
And
to
you have a
sell
whole
that.
yes, then you have a whole nother segment way of drama. So the dues are what it is. It's $60 going forward. There is only one education program that we have. Members are not allowed to bring in their own educational training and say, this works better. Have you had that experience? I hope the answer is no. You.
Okay.
I mean, my advisors clings to paper methods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Pathways is the only program we have, educational program, and you can print all of it. You do not have to be, if you are only online, but you can print the material so that you have it where you like to touch and feel and write and highlight. Okay, so September 30th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 important things have to happen by the end of this month, which is 14 more days. Yes.
Yes, I'd just like to highlight, we have received to date 1,009 membership payments in our District 7, which I think is phenomenal.
What is the goal?
The goal would have
For
been
being
the whole
distinguished.
16
For the
for being
distinguished.
distinguished.
What is the goal? I'm gonna share with you something really quick.
Uh,
This is especially important for Jim and Dave and for Dr. Gwendolyn, because when they're calculating things, they can foresee.
Right, for underpayments, the distinguished goal is 3,834.
3,834.
Yes,
What this all means, family, friends, everyone, is that to have them walk the stage on behalf of District 7 membership in Anaheim, California at the International Convention is to recognize that all three parts, Dave's part to get that going on the Distinguished Club program, your part to get your clubs, pay clubs to not drop below the amount and to grow, and Jim's part of the membership payments. That three categories, when you look at the dashboard, this is a number for step one, the first distinguished level, which is 3834.
Yes.
Typically, you would want to have your membership pay at least 50% of that, right?
Mhm.
What's 50% of 3834? Did someone calculate that?
1912.
1812,
1,900 and.
And so
1000,
Oh, 680.
this is 3834.
1,000.
So 38 is 1934, 15, 20.
mhm.
Use your calculator. iPhones. So what would be 50% of 3834? Is
1917.
how much?
1917.
1917. So ideally, the perfect epitome, the perfect world is that you receive by the end of September membership payments of 1,917. That would be your ideal world.
Mhm.
What are the chances of your ideal world? You will know what they are because you would refer back to the previous term and see what the October 1 membership payments were. And while someone looks that up, we'll come back to that later and finish the rest of the story of how you are on your progress of membership dues. So now let's talk about the club growth director, the retention team, and I want to add to that the new clubs team, which I believe they have a special name for that, don't they, for new clubs?
For new clubs, that's the
Club
club
growth.
extension,
Club extension. Welcome,
and
Sherry.
she's the chair.
Okay, so we're gonna add to this the club extension. And that is basically forming and supporting for new club growth. We'll talk
Mhm.
about the two of them right now. So let's share first of all on club retention, and when you find the number, you just let me know.
Mhm.
The whole idea is for the district to support you in this venture, in this endeavor. So we heard from Dr. Gwendolyn some of the things that are behind the scene that the retention committee is working on. Can you give us A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and very briefly, what action plan we can put in to help our clubs retain their members that your retention committee may have already thought of?
Retention is, like I told you, the form, the club form that is done every other Thursday.
The
And
club form?
yes,
FORM?
yes.
Can you explain that, what the
The
second?
club forum is where clubs that 8 members and under are coming together to talk about different issues specific to their club, different to
Okay.
getting membership, etc.
Very good. So you have a gathering of clubs that are 12 or less or 8 or less?
8 or less is what
Okay.
it is.
Now, club coaching starts at 12 or less.
Mhm.
Would you consider retention team to open it up to 12 or less?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the retention team has the goal of helping you gain members.
Mhm.
The strategy is to get together, is to meet, and the tactic, what should they implement when they come to this meeting? They talk about it, they strategize, and then you learn a tactic that you can execute to get your
Absolutely.
membership to grow. So that's what the retention committee is doing as one way to help you grow your club. So club members need to know that from their area directors. The club, the key 4 trickles it down to the division and area directors, so you can let your clubs know, any of them that are 12 or less members, that such and such a date, our regular ongoing meetings that will go over some strategies with some strategies that you can help get to your goal of growing your membership and retaining membership, and some tactics you can execute. Now let's help out here. What kind of tactics would you use or would you share with your club? Anyone can voice it. What tactic? I'm here so let's say this is the meeting. My club is 12 or less, all right? The strategy is we're gonna do something so that we can get our clubs to stay at 12 or more, or 8 or more, okay? So what's one tactic that we can use, that we can share, that we would start to do in our clubs, consider doing in our clubs? Anybody?
So I mentioned community outreach. I think we could go to a neighborhood association meeting
Okay, so you could, so on this one, I'm gonna write
and
it
ask for 2 minutes to talk about our.
Okay, so one thing of the tactics that you would execute right away, or not right away, but you know, plan it out with your club, is that for your club members to have an outing. Is that correct? An outing to go out
Yeah.
to, okay. So one is member community outing. Right? That would be one of the things that could come out of this club growth committee retention meeting
Right.
as tactics. Because what it is with members is that we need the feel guts thing. We need to know the do things. There are a lot of theories, lots of theories. One of the biggest important theory is, are you listening? So when members expect something out of us as leaders, it's because were you listening? That this is what we need. Were you listening? That we need a challenge to get to the DCP. We need the challenge or the tactics to get to membership growth. So this would be a tactic that a member, the club members could possibly do. It's up to each individual club to internalize what can work for them and what they want to dump or keep. Okay, so member community outing. Any other things that a club growth retention committee powwow gathering would generate a tactic that we could do?
I think informational meetings, which is a lot about what that forum is doing, is what information and resources can I bring to you to help you to grow members, help you to build your club up.
Okay, so let's take that a step further. That's what you're giving at the meeting. What can they execute in their club to get all their members to help grow the numbers or retain the numbers? Because you're giving them information at that gathering.
I think how to run a quality meeting is another big deal, because we've gone away from the days of following the structure that is set up by TI. People are kind of doing their own thing. And I think we should go back to the basics.
When you say we should go back to the basics, what do you describe when you're in these meetings with people who attend that you mean basics? What do you mean by quality meeting?
Did it start on time? Were the roles filled? Did you have speakers? Did the speakers stay on time? Did you really explain the roles?
So what's the tactic then? The tactic is
Education.
moments of truth.
Yeah.
Okay, we as leaders need to give members directives that they can grab, that we grab onto. Don't you agree? What can we grab onto? We understand the theory. Quality meeting, time for it. We understand that. It's everyday struggle that we go through it. Members, please fill the role. Members, we're still missing the role, right? But what is it at the meeting that they can do to bring members to the reality of what their clubs are doing well or not so well? And that is the moments of truth.
Also, club success plans are to me, very important, because it is the driver to say
The
what
club's
you
suggested.
intend, yeah, what you intend to do versus what you have gotten done and a way to get it done.
So now that we're getting in the swing of the actual ABC tactics, what other tactics can you share? Dave, Jim, Sherry?
I think a small bite would be just making sure, I mean, this is in Moments of Truth, but not to be redundant, but just make sure your club contact information is current, both with TI and with your club website.
Okay, that's a good part about the education. How can that, in terms of executing a tactic, help the club grow their membership?
Well, just from personal experience, thankfully, we have a nice sort of passive tree where we get a lot of questions and referrals. And that's, that current information can allow us to get back with them. And another tactic, I guess we could suggest, is get back to people in 24 hours or less.
Yeah,
Contact, follow up, bingo.
Yes.
Here we go. Follow up. That's a real hands-on tactics. When we have committee meetings, we talk a lot about theory, we talk a lot about plans, but then your members go back and they're lost.
right.
They're like, what did I get out of the meeting? I still don't know how to raise the membership. We're still going to the same humdrum at the meeting. So when you have gatherings, people want to walk away with some meat.
Yes.
Like that commercial, I miss that commercial. Where's the beef, right?
Yeah.
I think of grandmother, where's the beef, right? So where is the beef? Give your members, whatever your committee team is working on is wonderful. It's commendable, but your members really, that's outside of their borders. They just want to know, tell me, do we have to, spray air freshener? Do we have to serve food? Do we have to take off our shoes? What are the tactics?
Yeah.
Follow up. Now that we're getting our juices running on this, any other ideas? You're in this meeting, we're in this retention meeting now, we're bouncing off the walls. What, our members aren't showing up, why aren't they showing up? They're not filling roles. What are some things we could do to fill that gap? Anyone?
I think theme meetings, of making sure there's theme meetings.
Themes, yes. For your agenda, give a theme. Theme meetings are wonderful.
Backwards and sideways meetings as well. Doing the roles backwards, those have been quite interesting to see.
Why do you think theme meetings are so important?
Changing it up.
Yeah.
New excitement,
More excitement, right?
scary for some.
Yeah, it's scary for some. The holidays are coming up. If it's fall, I've seen many clubs do fall into Toastmasters as their theme. But the theme is all about the autumn changing of colors. And they tie the changing of colors into how you can transform. Isn't that a brilliant way
Yeah.
to grab people in? Now, for the theme and all of this, you need active participation from all your club officers and your members to help encourage your vice president of public relations to do what? Publicize. You have to publicize. You cannot keep, if you want to bring people to your club, your best kept secret. Unless you don't want any more members in your club. Unless you like it just being the way it is, and we're a special, separate little group and we don't want any more, but most people, you gotta publicize it. Where's your PR person? Okay, and I cannot stress enough that publicity is not only among yourselves on your club website, it is also on the social media. Now, you heard earlier that Dr. Gwendolyn shared how I was part of the team that took the district to distinguish, almost Smedley distinguished, but the club growth was short. So we had to take what the club growth had, which was distinguished. in the year of the pandemic, when everyone was blaming the pandemic. Oh, it's because of pandemic, we don't have any more clubs, oh, that's why nobody's renewing, oh, blah, 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 blah. But yet, we were excelling beyond distinguished, beyond select, beyond present to Smedley. Why did that happen, do you think? The number one reason is publicity. When the pandemic came out, the group got together and we said, okay, we're gonna have a day of crying, of pouring our eyeballs out, and you come tomorrow to the meeting and we're going to start fresh. That we just landed on the moon and we have to survive with the moon rocks. And that's how we said it. So the key to all of this is, although you have the tactics, what's the most important thing? Your mindset.
Yeah.
Please
And
keep your
execute.
mindset that we can do it.
Mhm.
Folks, mindset. So that mindset was that we can do this. We're on the moon, we're gonna eat moon rocks if we have to, make moon rock soup, whatever. But we had a very focused, positive mindset. And anytime somebody brought up that, oh, the pandemic, we say, oops, you're on the moon now. Right? To help us come back. Because it's human nature, it's natural for us to fall back on the morning of everything. I mean, we were losing jobs, we were losing lives, right? It's real. But we said, okay, and here we have to have a good, strong mindset. Yes.
I heard a quote by Brian Tracy just the other day, and one of his quotes, and this is paraphrasing it, but it was, stop looking back and it'll continue to look forward.
Great quote. Thank you for sharing Brian Tracy's with. And if you're listening to any of those kind of motivational tapes, bravo for you, because it helps build a more stronger, positive mindset. So now continuing my story, we had that mindset. The number one thing was that the public relations manager was a key factor for the district. Because whatever the trio decided to execute, the PR team helped put it in the face of the district, in front of for memberships. So what happened here is that publicity is a big thing. The second thing that happened is that our district was very poor. We had no money. We did not pay for a single advertisement, not one. How did the advertisement come? Any ideas? How did it happen?
Facebook?
Jim, any ideas about how we can advertise without spending a cent? Or Sherry or Dave from the Zoom board?
Earned
Absolutely.
media,
Huh? What did you say?
earned media.
Social media?
No,
What?
earned media. That's where you get news articles, news reports in paper publications.
Yes,
Or on
there
this.
you have it.
PSA.
Free media, earned media, public PSA, public service announcements, get on the radio if you have a friend, whatever, newsletters, whatever. So we, like most districts, didn't have any money to pay for advertisements. So we didn't. We depended on the best human capital ever. And that's each one of us. Yes, Jim, sorry, my back was turned, sorry.
So Rose, one thing that we are able to make use of in this district right now, this year, is Phyllis Harmon is doing production for cable access TV. And so she's taking some of the material that we have, putting it into PSAs that will be available on the cable access networks for broadcasting, filling in spots at various points. And so we will have free advertising on local cable access TV.
Ah, that's wonderful. That's great news. We have the whole membership here would be jumping up and down. And so one of the best is the human capital is the best voice of publicity. And I bring this up because so many people feel that, oh, we gotta pay for an ad. We gotta pay for a social media ad. You are the walking billboard, and you have ways of publicizing through your website, through your club members, through posting on the grocery store bulletin board that you're having a meeting. I remember running around during that time. When I took it from the DPPR, the flyer, I posted it on the Safeway or Bonds bulletin board. And people actually called and said, hey, I saw this on the board, and are you serious that if we're looking for work, how Toastmasters could help? Your resume and all that? I said, yeah, and they would show up. What would happen? They enjoyed the meeting, it's engaging, they need friends. You know, when you're broke, the only other thing you have going for you is a nice person talking to you, right?
Right.
Because you're down in the dumps already. So please know that when you're having your meetings, members that attend need some meat. Where's the meat? Give them tactics that they can work with. Part of the meeting, if you're able to invite your PRM to participate or just be what we call a fly in the wall, just be there. He, your PRM now, Fred, can get an idea of what kind of publicity you're thinking about without just being fed in. Okay, this is due in 1 week, I need publicity, and it's kind of cold. So you may want to invite that. Of course, you always want to invite when you're having any trail meetings that involve membership growth, your leaders, because that way you can all chime in. So that's where it's at. So what happened with that is that the PR was a big part of the success of the district becoming distinguished, and it was consistent. So the C's in the world of sharing benefits is the C's. Communicate with clarity consistently. Communicate with clarity consistently. When you ask back a question and the person doesn't know how to answer it, that means that there's a break in communication. That means there's a breakdown in communication that you, the communicator, did not make it clear. So when I ask a question to the general audiences here, and the answer isn't coming back the way I had hoped, I am responsible for that. To make it clear, to go back and make it clear. So just when you are checking with your club members, you go to this meeting with the retention team may want to send out, because not everybody will be attending, may want to send out to all clubs 3 ideas of how to grow your membership. Just do 3. Human beings only work better with triangles, the triad. If you do more than 3 at a time, he's shaking his head. Too much information. TMI, as my little ones would say. But stick to the C's. Repeat it, be more clear, and communicate so that the person who wants to respond can get what you're saying. Because I have problems sometimes hearing what I think they're saying, and I need clarification again, just like how Jim shared clarification of what he was explaining. So that's all about publicity. 3 C's. All right, we're gonna have a little quiz here. What are the 3 C's of communication? Anybody?
Communicate, clarity, and
Wait, what?
Consistency.
Consistency, what else?
communicate and clarity.
Communicate clearly and consistently, right? So the 3 C's. All right, so now since you all did so great and you're high on sugar, why don't we add more sugar to your life for the 3 of them that are here in the Zoom world? Here you go. There you go. All right. And to the Zoom world, well, when you meet in person, we can toss you a treat.
And I have that number for you, Madam Region Advisor.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that number, which I
Okay.
had erased already. So first of all, the number to make the distinguished is 3, what?
38, 34.
38?
34.
And half was 1917, and we are currently at what?
We had for the October is what you had asked about,
Yeah.
1,250 in
No,
the
no, the current one right now is what? 10?
I think it's 1,009. Let me flip back to that. I was trying to give you last year's.
Yeah, and then you can give me last year's.
Last year's was the
Last year was what?
1,250. And then this year's was the 1,009.
1009.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ready for some math assignment? All right, everybody, let's see if we can get on our math assignment. We have here to make level 1 distinguished for the district. 3834. It's a big honor for the district to be on the stage. It's a big deal because everybody knows your name. And everybody wants to contact you to ask you, how did you do it? So 3834 is the way to go. The ideal world, right, Jim? And Dave and Dr. Gwendolyn would be if all of that halfway point came in on the October renewal. And that amount will be 1917.
Well, I got one just now while we're sitting here.
All right.
Alrighty, all right.
Basically,
It will be 19.
Back up.
Will be 1917. So now, what are the chances that any district can make halfway point at the October renewals? Is that real or no?
yes, it is.
No, there's no way they can make halfway. You can see you didn't even make halfway last year. Right? Okay, so last year they made 1250 based on whatever their thing was, they were probably short. This year, you're so far at 1009.
Mhm.
What is your goal? And whoever wants to calculate this math assignment, what is your goal then this year to make for the membership dues for October? You're at 1009. Last year you were 1250. What do you think the goal would be?
I would.
900.
Last year.
Yes. Bingo. You are correct. You have imagined correctly. And that is, yes, I imagine that the goal would be to make the number, here you go, for last year.
Mhm.
So the goal for October would be to at least hit last year's number. So your last year's number is what? Everyone?
1280.
1250.
That's.
All right, let's do this math. 1250, take away 1009.
No, it's
How much more renewal payments do you need before October what? How many?
241.
240 now.
2,
Oh, my, yeah.
2 what?
240, because another one has come.
Okay, so let's, for this purposes, because we're using these numbers, that we don't confuse all the mathematicians. We need 241. So Club Grove, District Director, PQD, we have to pump it up. Because we need 241 member payments to even meet last year's hit in 14 days.
And my home club advisors has 4 in the works.
There you go. So get everybody excited. It's not only your jobs, leaders, or concerned individuals, members, it's everyone. We're all here in it together. It's all your 3,000, 2,000 members in the district. Get everybody excited. How do you get everybody excited that you still are looking for 241 renewals? Any ideas?
We're almost there.
Any ideas?
Yeah, advertising.
Advertising,
Yeah.
publicize. Where do you publicize? The district social media is the best. There's over billions of people that look at the social media. And if your District 7 Facebook does not have at least 50% of your memberships is subscribed to it, put out a publicity, PQD, that we need you to join the Facebook. You can help your distinguished club go. Join the Facebook. Be publicized to the world. This will help you with your DCP, right? With your membership growth. You cannot grow if nobody knows that you want to grow. You cannot grow if nobody knows that you're around. That's it. you know? People have to know that you want it. Not that it's what's in it for you, but what's in it for them. What's in it for them are the benefits you sell when you publicize your club meeting. Club meeting is still looking for work? Check out Toastmasters to get away there. Something like that. If you cannot think of the content, all of you can use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a free AI software. You just type in, please give me verbiage of how to get more people to attend my Toastmasters meeting. And boom, 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 all this different verbiages pop up. ChatGPT. So now your goal is to at least meet last year's membership payments in October. If you go over that, you celebrate, but to at least meet that, all right? That means you're still short 241. What can Club Growth Committee do? The extension, the retention, any team come together, you can promote 8 is great.
Right.
Has the 8 is great gone out and publicized to the district yet? Who knows? But 8 is great is a sample publicity you can do. All of these different sample publicities you can get from me. I will send you the flyers, but you have to remind me because I have a whole slew of different things that I could remember, but I usually sometimes forget. So please let me know and I'll let you know. Now,
I have a
the
question.
goal is still 1917,
Next
right?
question.
Question.
So the question I've got now, it almost sounds to me like you're talking to all club officers and district officers.
And members, yes.
Okay, and members. And so with that, because when we push it down to the members, because that's where we have the maximum number of people.
Yes.
The part that comes to my mind is so many times over the years I've heard newer, younger, or younger people, they give up. And so my thing is never give up. You talked about, Gwendolyn talked about 25 years where she got here. And I personally had in the club that we have here years ago, a woman showed up, they introduced her, she's sitting next to me, and I didn't remember her, I don't know her. And they said, what brought you here this morning? And she looks down at me and she says, Cleon invited me 8.5 years ago. And so here I am
Yeah,
today.
that happens because the lack of follow-up
Right.
or reconnection.
But the thing is never give up.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean pester people, but you can just bring it up, you talk to people, have your kid on, and see it.
Yes,
Many times they will come to you and because especially they promise, I'll be there Friday,
yeah.
and they don't show it.
And that's what Jim shared. He said that he can get that distributed to member clubs, usually through the AD when they visit in person. You know, or if you have an in-person function, just bring those pins and distribute it. It's like, there was, I think Nutrisystem used to do a pin that says, ask me how I lost so many pounds or whatever. I think they, so because people are curious to find out, can you solve my problem? Can you help solve my problem?
Right.
So that's what Toastmasters does is, so when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a problem solver. And they're like, really? And then I lead into,
Branding.
yeah, the brand, yeah. So your goal to meet halfway of your distinguished number is actually 1917. So mathematicians, if based on the fact that you will make it, right, Jim? The 1250, but in 14 more days, which is 241, divided that by 14, oh well, you know, 30 members a day, I don't know how many, but based on that you will make the 1250, at least that mark from last year, what's the difference from 1917 that you are still short to get your membership payment goal of 50% of the distinguished mark?
667.
How much?
667.
667. 667, is that correct? Check markers? Correct? Okay. So now, what does this tell you? This is where we lead into building new clubs.
Yes.
not only must the existing clubs help to gain this number, but club growth director needs to help promote building new clubs. Okay. So I see that I have the green, pretty soon it'll be yellow and then red lights for us to take another break. But let's talk about building new clubs for 667 after a short break. Is that all right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Think of the numbers. Think of what we can do to reduce 667 before the next renewal period. Understand, this is 667. That's short. Jim, Dave, Sherry, Susan, Bill, Mark, Dr. Gwendolyn. We have to make, that's our goal. So if you want a goal for your club extension, the goal is 667 before the next renewal.
Mhm.
All right,
Which
let's take a
Mark.
break. Thank you.
Welcome back. We are in the third hour of this power-packed informational and training from our Region 1 advisor, Rose Kirland. So I want her to come back to the stage and she's going to teach us about how to build new clubs. Rose?
Thank you so much, Dr. Gwendolyn. So now we have come down to our final powerhouse of the last 45 minutes before we conclude. We've gone through a lot from individual, and now we're working through how the district supports you. As you know, the district does and will continue to support you. You just need to ask. If you don't ask, we don't know, right? So please know that they are here to support you, and it is rewarding that the trio, the top three, including the club growth directors, team members, are here today with us on Zoom and in person. So thank you so much for your time for being here. Thank you, Dave. We have looked at numbers about membership. That data for research of numbers can be looked at later after the session. What I want to go over is how do we build new clubs and how do we help all of us top of mind that renewals are due. There is a campaign promotion that we started in the pandemic term called 8 is Great. And what we did is promoted in a promotion through with the assistance of the PRM, a flyer that posted on the social media, posted on the district's Facebook social media, posted wherever we could post that, wherever we could publicize that 8 is great. And we would list clubs that attained renewals of at least 8 members or more. And their club names were put on what turned out to be acronym as WOW, the WOW board. The wall of wins, the wall of fame, but it was called, we never called it that, but members would say, are you on the WOW board? WOW. And so it was a WOW to members that we are a viable, eligible, verified, good standing club. One, it helped them because they had members who wanted to compete in the district contests. And you cannot compete in the district contest unless you belong to an eligible, verified club in good standing. 8 is the minimum. Once that comes out, which should be out there now if you do not have it, it reinforces the email memo that those members personally received from Toastmasters International, giving them a reminder about the benefits, giving them the call of welcome that we don't want to lose you, please stay with us, giving them all these other accolades. So as of today, every single member that has not renewed has been sent that email. There is no way that your members do not know that dues are due in the next 14 days. The reinforcement to accolade clubs that are 8 is great 8 is the minimum, but we know that the club has some of them done charter strength of 20. To accolade that, the 8 is great. Wow Board is very important campaign. And as more clubs get added to the wow board, excuse my tongue twist there, it's up to the Club Growth Committee team to connect with the PRM to update that, because you want to consistently promote it every day, the progress. So a flyer that I will send as sampling to the trio will show 300 membership payments, 1,000 membership payments. You see the numbers grow. And we have the thermometer on the side on some of those flyers. And the goal might be 1,400 membership payments, right? And the board just keeps moving up and up. Visual are the best ways to connect with people. And so this is why less words, more emphasis on what it is that you're celebrating. So that, to answer your question, is what the 8 is Great program is about. Are there any questions from both Zoom or audience in person about that campaign? Yeah. So that campaign reinforces renewals, retention, and gives pride to your clubs. Okay. Now we're talking about building new clubs, and that, thank you so much, Sherry, for being here this time, but I'm coming to the end here about how do we build clubs. Building clubs is like putting together Lego pieces. It's even assimilated to putting together puzzle pieces. If you are a puzzle person, you get it. But most of us, it's too much to put little pieces together, whether it's Legos or whether it's puzzles. And for me, raising 3 sons, I was always getting my toes or foot into either the Legos or the puzzles, and it was painful, right? So that's kind of the thing that goes on here with building new clubs. I'm going to start off with a couple of things about building new clubs, and that is the best way to start off in building a new club is to do a membership drive. And the best way to do a membership drive is during the time that Toastmasters International is also promoting the membership. What membership is happening this month that will be ending this month that Toastmasters International is promoting? Do you know? Cleon? Susan? Dr. Gwendolyn? David? Dave Bones? Jim? Do you know what the membership drive is that's ending on September 30th?
Apart from dues are due,
Huh?
apart from dues are due.
Apart
You're talking
from
about
dues
a
are due.
promotion, right?
It's a membership campaign.
Medley Award,
Jim?
Medley Award.
The membership drive. Okay, so the question is, what is the Toastmasters International membership drive that ends this month, September 30th?
So Jim
Anyone?
says mentally.
The Smedley,
Or
Wait, somebody's answering. Jim?
Smedley Award.
Smedley. Smedley. Thank you, Jim. There are only 3 membership drives that Toastmasters International does internationally. Those membership drives are to help you build more members, are to help you build new clubs. We need to know about those campaigns, i.e. resources. If you don't know, for example, which we had a round robin to get it out, to extrapolate it, you can imagine how your 2,000 plus members, do you think they know? Where does that come from? That comes from promotion again, publicity. If you don't let people know what's going on, how do you expect them to help you? They have to know what's going on. It's not enough to just put it in a newsletter. Half of us don't read newsletters. It's not enough to just put it on the website. Half of us don't do that. It is more than enough when your area directors, division directors, club officers, when you visit the club, this is purposeful announcements to bring it up. So when I visit clubs, even though I am not a district leader in my district, I always bring up what's happening in Toastmasters International to support us on the district level. I always bring up what's happening in the district. So at the end, they'll say, oh, our guest Rose Kirland, do you have any announcement, do you have anything you want to share about the meeting? I would share with them what I thought about the meeting, but I also would share with them things that can help us be where we want to be. The Toastmaster membership drives, it ends in 14 days. What does Smedley membership drive? What is that about? Anybody up there in Zoom land? What is that about?
Add 5 new members between August 1st to September 30th.
Yes. Does that help PQD get to distinguished clubs?
Absolutely.
Yes, you need membership. Does that help your club grow members? Yes.
Yes.
Does that help club extension find members? Yes. Okay, so what's the second campaign that's coming up after Smedley? And I'll just share it with you because of the time, shortage on time, is the next one is Talk Up Toastmasters. And there's a period of time. Now, why do they strategically plan these campaigns in these months? Because it's the gap period. When you have a gap between October and March, you cannot just be low and just not do anything. It has to be ongoing, top of mind, ongoing. We have to know things are happening. So what do? You say to members, let's gap fill so you can grow your membership. So by the time March 1 rolls around for the next renewal, you have built up your membership when building clubs. The last one is Beat the Clock. Why do they promote Beat the Clock? Because everybody's racing like maniacs to try to make sure that they meet the number goals on the chart. So you're trying to beat that clock before June 30th. So those are 3 very important membership drives that are publicized worldwide, but it's not enough just through TI. You as a district, you as members have to know about these and have to promote them. So what do? We ask Club Growth team, where's the publicity for these membership drives? Because it comes under Club Growth parameters per se. But it's everybody's, what we call everybody's business. You should be promoting it to your clubs, should be talking about it, etc. So I'm going to ask you this, I'm going to ask you to participate in this activity. I'm a guest at your club. Your club is 8 is great, you have at least 8. I'm a guest at your club. Share with me, when the meeting is almost going to adjourn, do you ask for guest comments?
Yes.
Okay, so share with me what you would ask.
What did you think of the meeting today?
Very good. What would you ask?
Are you coming back? We want to see you back.
Very good. Very good. How about you? What would you say?
I would do those 2 things as well as, what can I answer? What questions do you have and what can I answer for you today?
Okay, Jim, what would you say?
Well, one thing I always ask is, did you enjoy yourself?
Very good. Dave, what would you say?
Outside the box, what our club has done is we've mentioned we do have an open slot for a table topics participant next week. Would you like to sign up for that?
Okay, Sherry, if you're able to answer, what would you say?
Oh, I think they've pretty much covered it. It's just not just asking the question, but making them feel warm and grateful that they showed up and let them know that there's a place for them in the club.
Wonderful. All of us had great input about what you would say. Yes.
But I've always been known for, before you got out of there, to bring you an application.
Great. That's true. Let me share with you what has proven almost 100% sign up. It's proven almost 100% sign up. Whatever this system is used, is proven almost 100% sign up. We asked the guests, we know you enjoyed yourself at this meeting. We could tell. Please share with us, did it help you for what you were looking for when you came today? Usually, the person would just spiel over all the things that were, I'm afraid, and blah, 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 right? Okay, so then before you go on to the next one, because they won't talk very long, they can hardly make a whole minute, right? Then the next question would be, not the next question, next statement is, and this is the same template script we use all the time. And the next statement would be, we can help you get there. We can help you get there. The person acknowledges, right? The gleam comes on. Yes, I need to solve this aim. Then the third statement, which is the final, and if it's virtual, we show the virtual guest packet at the end. But the third statement would be, since you said that, we tell them we can help you get there and say, we would love to have you be a member of our club today. Would you like to speak to our membership officer who can take you into a private breakout room to discuss and sign you up today? Almost 100% of the time, we get a yes. So that system has been worked so well that it's ingrained in the members of the clubs that I belong to, that almost all 13 clubs that I belong to are charter strength and beyond. Because we know they enjoy themselves. We know we're grateful, they know we're grateful that they attended. What we want to know is the guts. Did we solve your issue? Did we get to you? Do you feel that we can benefit your life? In other words, we put it on what's in it for you. And money is usually never an issue. They can charge the $60 for them. They look at it as not having 2 Starbucks a month or whatever. But those are the 3 questions. Those are the 2 questions and 1 statement. And I will be happy to share that template with your district leaders so that they can disseminate it down to any club that would like to have another way of thanking their guests. It doesn't have to be the only way, but this way has proven more successful than the one thing that you want to do is ask for the order, ASK. Many clubs I go to, they say, oh, did you have a nice time? I blah, 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 blah. And then they say, okay, thank you. We'll see you next time. Huh? Don't you want a member? When you see me next time, I will come back next time. Why may I not come back next time? Why do you think? Dave, why do you think that if you just say, oh, thank you for joining us, I'm glad you had a nice time, we'll see you next time, and you're welcome to come anytime, you can come as often as you want, and some people have been here every year for a whole year and they're still guests. Why do you not want that, Dave?
Well, first of all, I resemble that remark, and secondly, people get busy. They'll forget about you.
Yeah, exactly.
And no urgency.
To join your team, why would I want to come back? Yes.
And I can tell you, and Mark probably remembers this, in another club that we belong to, and that was that there was a fellow that came and joined us and visited us, and actually he wanted to speak and he had aspirations to do something, and then he left, and then he was checking out all the clubs, and he came back to us.
There you have it.
Remember this, Mark?
There you have it.
And he says, you know why I didn't join you guys' club?
You didn't ask me.
Why not? Because you didn't ask me.
That's right.
And at
That's
that
the
point,
number 1
I
answer.
changed mine, and I said, nobody will ever get away without having an application. That's it. That's what happened.
That is the number 1 reason is we don't ask. I learned that in sales when I was a top producer in real estate, top producer in mortgage banking, in insurance, is that you don't ask, you don't get. You're talking to someone, you never ask them, do you have an agent representing you? And they said no, I said, I would be happy to represent you. You never ask them, they walk out the door, they go to the next open house, bingo bangle, they're with another agent.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to have at the top of mind the ASK. Now, we talked about conduct membership drives. How do you build new clubs with that? Create your own district membership drive for new clubs. That's how you do it. Create it. Make it up. I remember when I first was in real estate many, many moons ago. My broker said, do you know people in the neighborhood? I said, no, I just came out of high school. My sisters pulled me away from college with a pot banged on my head and said, you need to come home and help us get homes. So I said, the only people I know is my family, and my family really can't afford the down payment right now, or things like that. So he said, you then must create your own inventory.
Yeah.
And I have never forgotten that. When you are asking people, when you are thinking outside of the box, you are creating your own inventory. Your inventory are members. Without members, we have no business. Right? We
Right.
need members. That's our inventory. So I learned to create things. And I created inventory. How did I create inventory? I bought my first home, all in my first commission. You know, I said, I went in, can we do this? Blah, blah, blah. It worked out. That was my inventory. I put a for sale sign in the yard and then started to get customers, right? But that's just an example in that field. But in every field, we need to create inventory. So you need members. So what do you do? If you're building new clubs, do a membership drive. What's the tactics for that? What's the action plan strategy? Club Growth and Extension can connect with me privately and we can go over that to help you with membership drive of building a new club. Part of the membership drive to building a new club is know what kind of clubs your members would like to participate in. Sir, have you surveyed the membership and said, we would love your input. Please submit on this Google form a club that you think you would like to see in the district. Specialty clubs such as music club, language club,
Motorcycle club.
motorcycle club, a short Google form. Don't drain the minds of people with lengthy forms. Just short, brief, we love brief. Short, brief inquiry. When that comes back, give them an incentive. The incentive is, we put all your ideas into a pot, your name was drawn. Congratulations for being the top contributor, winner, or whatever you want to call it, and give them something from the district, whether a letter from the club growth director of how much appreciation, whether a pen, if they meet in person, or something like this, where we have thank yous like this that are battery charge for your cell phone, that are plug-in charger for your cell phone. I mean, little things like that. So do create a way to get your inventory. Your inventory is building a club. If your club if you're building a club for the district goal is 10 clubs, then all the ideas that come in, sort through them, which was the most repetitive idea. If the most repeated idea was a music club, go with the music club. Second point for club growth and for everyone, even ourselves, if you want to build a new club, is who wrote that they wanted that club. That is your first team member. That's your first team member. So let's say Dave, Jim, and Susan all said they wanted the motorcycle club. Somehow, somebody said, a motorcycle club. They would be the first one to say, you are the top 10 clubs of you're the top 10 of ideas that came in of clubs we should consider having in this district. You are among the ones who expressed that. We would love to have you spearhead the charter of this new club. Would you like to be a sponsor or a mentor? Okay, there you are. You created inventory. How do I know this worked? Because I've chartered over 25 clubs. I know it works. That membership drive works. So you have to work with the club growth director and her team. The other thing is that never not underlook, I don't know what it is, but don't overlook is a better way of rephrasing it. All the resources that are available to you.
Right.
I did not know that AARP was going to be a gigantic resource for me. I did not know that the Board of Realtors was going to be an exceptional source of resource. Do you know that every real estate salesperson, when I spoke at the Board of Realtors to invite them to what they can do to help them be more successful, that most of them got all their language mixed up. And they're always sitting in the broker's office trying to unravel the pot of mess they got into because of the miscommunication. We don't know that they had that pain until your lead generation team and your new club building team set up appointments for you, club growth, and members who want to support to go and make the presentation. If you say the presentation is going to be 5 to 7 minutes, please don't go over to 20 minutes. Just stay at 5 to 7. Shorter is better. You'll be a hero and get to the key point. For example, when I went to speak at the Board of Realtors in my local district, I asked I think it's called the CEO or the CFO, whoever it was in charge, what has been the main pain in helping your real estate agents succeed? And the first thing that comes out of them is that if they could just communicate more effectively. And if they start managing up, that they get a mindset of being a leader versus the worker bee in the trenches. Because worker bees in the trenches might be top sales producers, but they could be horrible managers. And they could be horrible leaders. That was a main squeeze. So I made sure that in 4 minutes, I covered those two pains. And that 3 minutes was a Q&A. There was more Q&A than I had imagined. And so I had to stop it because we do respect time. They had other things and left my card and they can contact me. As a result, we formed the Board of Realtors Club. So we have to get in front of your lead. If you have a lead, we have to get in front of your lead. And then once we get in front of your lead and they have a willingness to do it, then we do the demonstration meeting and ask them to invite as many people as possible. That club is still thriving today as it's a real estate club. We had an insurance club when things got really bad with their insurance claims, pandemic, storms, everything. They got super busy. And so that club had to die and they are looking at coming back again this term. So there are, we have life changes, just like the season changes. So recruit from all available resources. There's not only one. What my mother would say is that I need to look beyond my nose, that there are other things beyond my nose. Publicize your club. I can't express enough the value of publication. Whether you're a voice, whether you're media, whether you're written, I can't express that enough. Please do publicize and provide useful, effective information that someone can really use, whether it's materials or whether you're talking. Be brief if you're going to talk with someone who's brand new to this, because then they'll think, oh my gosh, I go to Toastmasters, these people don't know when to shut up. And we know that, right? We know that once you become a Toastmaster, you do not know how to stop. So just be careful about that. Again, for club extension, the thing about the leads is that follow up on the leads. And the one thing I was sharing with Dr. Gwendolyn is, when you're building new clubs, you need a closer. Oftentimes, I was called into many districts, not only my home district, to do the close. They could get the people there, but they were having a hard time closing. They couldn't get them to sign up. So if you have a good closer in your district, enlist the thought about getting a closer. When you're in sales, you're accustomed to learning how to close. You have the techniques, you have the eye contact, you have the body language, you can read the audience, whether it's virtual or in person. and you know how to close. We have a new club that chartered among one of the recent ones that I helped charter last year, and it's called the Trainers Hub. At the Trainers Hub, we teach you how to close. That is one of the #1 highly requested trainings, is how do we close the deal? Because most people in life are in sales. Big corporations, when they have to cut back on because the economy's switching them, they have to cut back. Who did they let go first? Not the salespeople. Because sales generates revenue. The same thing that's happening in Toastmasters. The revenue comes from membership. Membership gets the benefit of joining, and that's why we're able to keep going. But it isn't all about money. We know that. We know that it's about people. But still, we live in a society that we need that. When you have your club built, because you have your closer, you have your promotion, you have everything gelling together, your sponsors are knowing what they're supposed to do, and your mentors, you have to have a big celebration. Everyone from the district is invited, and your district leaders, your area directors need to be there, whether it's on Zoom or hybrid. You need to have a celebration because it's a big achievement. We have sample template flyers and promotions that can help you with how you can do the grand opening. The other thing is that many clubs have new members, but they have no system in place of new member orientation. So your members are flopping like guppies out of water, and they won't tell you, but when they stop showing up, you'll know that they're dried up. You need to have some kind of new member orientation. You also need to have, which many clubs, including new charter clubs, do not have new member induction ceremony. It only takes 3 to 4 minutes. They don't have it, they don't have the certificate, they don't have anything. You just assume that, hey, you belong to our club, so you know it's cool. It's not cool when it comes to renewals, because then they will start looking for other clubs. If they stay in your own district, that's fine. But if they migrate to other districts, you have lost a member for life, because they will check out other districts. How do they know about other districts? Because while you're not advertising on free social media, others are. And while you're not advertising on free social media, some compelling help from ChatGPT of why you should come to this meeting, others are. And they are showing up at those meetings. And they are loving them because they were ASK. That's your word of the day. You need to ASK. So let me just wrap up in a couple of minutes for the benefit of our club extension and club growth. Is that building new clubs is no different, really, than retaining members and growing members in an existing club. The building of new clubs starts with what is the need or the desire from your membership, because it's your membership that's going to help you with those clubs. So get feedback from them, a very brief Google form with something exciting. That, enter this contest for the next 2 weeks till September 30th, or if you start in October 1 through the 15th, what would you like to see as possibly a new club in this district? You're not asking them to form the new club. People hate that. Build a new club, Susan. Oh, sure, no problem, right? She doesn't want to hear that. But would you be receptive if we say, do you have an idea of what you think this district would enjoy as a new club? Give us an idea. That's it. You didn't ask her to go and shovel snow. You just asked her, do you like snow? Right? That kind of thing. So get the feedback first. As we started in the beginning, when I first opened the session, we always need to know the pain. We always need to know the need. We always need to know the newness that would excite someone. Building new clubs is exciting for people because it's new. You'll get a rush for the first 2 renewal periods, and it's up to your club officers and members to sustain that. Okay, so that's the first thing, is always find out what is needed before you plunge into something. You know, always find out if this ocean section has sharks that eat people before you go into it, right? So it's the same thing. You need to know what the need is. Second, now that you have the need, thank people for contributing their ideas, whether it's a personal letter, short, brief to that member who contributed, or whether it's an open announcement that you blast on social media through the email that Jim arranges an email blast, bulky email to send to many, many thousands of people. Thank them. Thank you, Susan. If you don't mind your name being published, etc., you have to always ask them in that Google, are you acceptable to your name being published for the share? You will need to get permission. You cannot just post people's pictures everywhere without their permission. I could be an undercover secret agent, and there's my picture, right? And I could be the witness protection plan, and there's my picture. So you need to ask for permission, everyone. I hope you get that. You need to ask for permission. And so when I am at a club meeting for our own clubs, which I belong to a baker's dozen, and if you don't know what that is, that means it's 1 + 12. Before we take the pictures, we always say, we will be publicizing the excitement of this club through you. If you do not want to be part of the photograph publicized, please hide your camera. Please hide your video. And then you click on the Zoom that says, hide the ones that are not showing, so that we don't even show their name. Because if they say they don't want their picture, you certainly cannot still have a photograph with this dark space and their name blasted all over it. Right. So be aware of the etiquette that people are drawn to, and the reason why they will stay with you is that comes from two things: respect that builds trust. People stay because we can trust you. So I want to, that's number 2 about how to do that. And then number 3, all the rest is logistics. Working to be sure that your sponsor and your mentor are fully informed of their expectations. One of my best friends said to me, the killer of relationships are unexpressed expectations. And I so believe that. Yeah, because you go through life brewing and bumping your head against yourself that I can't believe they're not paying attention to me. I can't believe you have not expressed your expectations of your leader, of each other, of your members. So take that movement towards having peace and harmony. Unexpressed expectations are a killer of relationships. I do want to close by being sure that we allow at least a few minutes for Q&A. And I want to say that when we build new clubs, which I'll be happy to share more in depth with you and your club extension team, the different templates, the different flyers, the different suggestions, the different roadmaps, so that you can help your members, help you, is that we are then including the unrepresented voices in our state. Yes. That's why we continue to build new clubs, is because we need to be all inclusive. We need to have the unrepresented voices have a chance to voice, and they can only gain that through the confidence of communication and development of leadership skills, not only in America, but in the entire world. So thank you everyone for your time. I would like to present you, each of you, gifts here in the room, because especially for you back there, one of these gifts is because these gifts are things that I received as part of the club growth team when we grew so many clubs in the district to become distinguished. These gifts come from that convention that we went to. What happened is one day I saw a promotion that said Human Resource Convention. It's called SHRM, SHRM. You're familiar with that?
Yep.
Okay. SHRM is the #1 gigantic state, America's in the United States, of human resource from corporations gathering together. Is that the best lead that you can get? Sherry, do you think that that's a great lead generation? That thousands of people are in there from corporations, major corporations. They're giving away these things. They're giving away their cards. They're asking you, what is Toastmaster? And what you are saying to them is how we can benefit you. And they are all HR managers, HR authorities, HR decision makers. Where do you get your corporate club leads from? Typically from HR. So what happens is that I have collected hundreds of these gifts from the different companies that have connected with me to become a Toastmasters club. That's how we grow clubs, is reaching out to where they need. And corporations see that. Are corporations easier to build in community clubs? Absolutely. Why? Because the employer what?
They want.
They
to
pay for
grow
everything.
And pay them.
They pay for everything, right? And they want to increase their what we call ROI, return on investment. So anytime, and even if they don't pay for everything, their employees want to hold their jobs. So they want to get better and they want to get promoted. So are there any questions, anyone? From the Zoom world, from the in-person?
I have a question, Rose, if I could.
Sure.
In visiting clubs, sometimes I've noticed, some clubs get the idea that throughout the meeting, it is a show. And to a certain extent, we're always trying to provide value. And other clubs that I go to, for example, if they're low on membership, a topic will come up. Okay, let's all talk about why we're struggling with membership. In other words, what kind of impression does that make for guests, do you think? Do you think it's better to have that conversation privately, or is it okay to have that conversation at the meeting in front of guests?
Well, I'm going to answer very quickly on that. Is number one, every club meeting should have an agenda so that you're not bouncing all over the place and you go through the agenda. If the agenda doesn't have anything about club business, it should never be brought up at that club meeting. Follow the agenda. That would be the suggestion if you'd like to offer suggestions to clubs on a after members leave so that you just have them. That would be the suggestion. Number two, they should know if they have a guest or not. If they have a guest, be appropriate in your behavior when you have guests. Okay. And number three is that if the club is only members and nobody showed up except maybe 2 or 3, they can express to a leader visitor who is part of the district, who is there to support them, that we're going to revamp the agenda right now because there's only the 3 of us. Let's have a club business meeting versus the agenda. And we are looking forward to your support as a district leader to help us through this. Those are the 3 appropriate ways to handle it. And I think that's a more what we call respectful way for the members as well as for yourself. Anybody else want to put in some input? We have about a minute left and we do want to respect your time.
I want to thank you very much for bringing back up SHRM again. Just to share, I began after that, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I got a hold of a person who was prominent in SHRM, but he wasn't an officer. And I told him that I wanted to do exactly what you're talking about with SHRM. And he says, let me see if I can connect you with the president of the state of Oregon. I did. That woman has never called me back. And so what I did is I just backed down. I asked a few people. I actually talked to a person who was in the board of directors. And then he got back and says, I don't know what to tell you. I can't seem to get her to get back to you.
Oh, yeah.
So I just sat back. So I share with you, look it up, find out who is the head. Because I know one thing they want to know is, are you interested in putting a booth up at our convention?
Right.
Well, I believe we can do that. I don't know.
Yeah,
what it costs.
Absolutely.
So-
But anyway, I agree totally, because that's what
Sure,
I'm after with
respect.
SHRM,
Yeah.
because they with corporate clubs,
Yeah.
because that's where it's about, and
That's where your investment should be.
Yeah.
So let me share with you how we got introduced to SHRM, because the district before never did SHRM. But when I came in, I looked up corporations, whatever, human resources, and up popped the Google that SHRM was having a convention.
Yeah.
Okay, guests can register. The convention was 3 months out, but you had to pay 3 months in advance. I then immediately shared it with the district director. I said, we need this for Club Grove. There's going to be hundreds, maybe even 1,000 different corporations from all over the state in this one. You have a one contained area. It's like being on an airplane. You can't get away. They're all there at the table. They're all going to the session. You're all enjoying lunch together. You're all enjoying the after party together. I said, we need to go to that. There was some concern. Oh, too much money. I said, you're telling me that spending X dollars is too much money to gain possibly 10 more clubs? I'm being elaborate, but is that, that's only 1% of 1,000. That's not even 10% of 1,000 corporations, okay? So we registered that way. We did not waste our time trying to find anybody. Not that I don't agree with that, I think that's great, but that was what we were stuck with, trying to find. So we didn't, we just registered. When we registered and we showed up, put the Toastmaster banner up, had the Toastmaster tablecloth, we had a spin the wheel game so that when people come, they could spin the wheel. We got them engaged, excited. That's how we gained so many clubs. Community clubs are okay, but corporate clubs are very quick. So just want to, again, I'm a little bit over time. If you can stay on if you want to for further discussion. Jim, before we close the meeting so that people can go and then we can stay on if anybody wants to.
I just wanted to say with that last mention of funds for events like that, we do have in our budget money allocated for paying for those kinds of events where we want to be able to have a table, some kind of presentation. And I want to encourage clubs, I want to encourage the Club Growth team to make use of that so that we can have tables at whatever events we can get them to.
Thank you. SHRM is a #1 feed-in. You will find almost every the credit unions are there, the hotels are there, the professional agencies are there. Please do that. Also, one last thing, since Jim brought that up, thank you, Jim, is that we also participated in the HOSA conference, HOSA, which are aspiring upcoming medical personnel, doctors, nurses. And we participated in that. There was no fee for that, but we trained the medical students at their conference.
Mark did something similar to this. Remember that, Mark?
We have, yes.
You did.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of opportunities. Everyone, I want to thank you. I'm 3 minutes over. Thank you so much, Dave, Sherry, Jim, for being there. And you can all stay a little bit longer if you want to. We have to clean up anyway. But thank you for your time, and I'm available anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Rose.
Yes, thank you, Rose.
This meeting is adjourned at this time.